This is part 2 of making a Raglan Style cat stitch sweater. If you missed part 1, click on it up here. I have what we're doing here, why we're doing it, how we're doing it, and also the first steps for making all the cuffs and the bottoms. Next step, we are going to sew up our cuffs. It doesn't really matter which side you sew it up on. I guess if there's one that looks better than the other, leave that one on the outside. But you're just going to thread the tail of your yarn. And I just like to work back and forth through these top stitches here. It doesn't necessarily need to be pretty, it just needs to be nice and tight. Because I want to make sure these stay, I go up once and then I go down again, and then I'm going to tie my two tail ends together and weave them in, because we want to stay ahead of weaving in those pesky ends, right? So we have our cuffs all done, and I'm going to stick with the original color for that, and then for the first actual cat stitches I will switch to my other color. For this pattern you're going to use at minimum 2 colors, but you can use as many as you want. I think personally a rainbow cat stitch sweater is in my very near future. Alright, so we're going to make one full sleeve at a time. So we're going to put this to the side, but keep it close so we don't lose it. And we're going to take our same hook that we made our cuffs with, and we are going to start casting on a set of single crochets. If there is a side that you like better, use that one for the outside. I don't really have a difference in mine. And then I always start casting them on right at the seam part. So you are going to stick your hook right through one of these gaps. It does not have to be neat and pretty and perfect. You are going to pull a loop through, and you are going to make a single crochet just to get yourself grabbed on. And now you're going to do that all the way around, just so you have a line of single crochets for you to grab onto when you're doing your actual cat stitch pattern. What I will say is the more stitches you put in here, the more volume is going to be in your sleeve, so keep that in mind. And you're going to want to do the same amount of stitches on each of the sleeves so that you have an equally volumed sleeve. So make sure you keep track of how many stitches you put into this cuff. So we are just going to work that all the way around. You've already created some natural gaps from when you did the chain 1 action at the end of every single row, and unless you're using like a super tight gauge, you're gonna have plenty of places to put your little stitches in. So let's do that all the way around. Okay, so I've come all the way around and I've cast on 30 stitches. This stitch works best when you start with a multiple of 5. If for some reason you can't get to that number, you can always fudge it when you do your first row. It's a pretty forgiving stitch because it does have so many good gaps in it, especially when you're getting it started. It's pretty easy to fudge your way into 5. Okay, so I have switched over to my other gray so I can start doing the actual cat stitch. This is my warning to you to please do yourself a favor and weave in your ends as you go. Stop every couple of rows, go back and weave them in. Just because you do so many color switches in this pattern, it is a pain to wait till the end to weave them in. Okay, so I'm going to start my actual cat stitch now. I'm going to do kind of like a speed through tutorial. I have a full tutorial on how to do the cat stitch already on my page just from a couple of weeks ago. So look for that if you want something a little bit more in depth. But we're going to start by chaining 1, 2, 3. And then we are going to make a double crochet into this first loop. And this is going to be the first half of our cat stitch. So for this stitch, it's just doing a lot of shells kind of over and over again, with a couple of extended double crochets in between to do the arms and to split up the ears. So we've done our chain 3, we've done our double crochet. Now we're going to skip 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we are going to do a shell stitch here. So that means we're going to do a double crochet. We are going to do a second double crochet. We're going to chain 1, and then we are going to do 2 more double crochets, and that is going to be our shell stitch for this cat stitch. And so repeat that all the way around here. Every 4, you're gonna skip 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then do another shell, which is 2 double crochets, a chain, and then 2 double crochets. Okay, so I've come all the way around and back to the beginning of my row. For this first one, it's a little bit messy because you don't have a chain 1 space, but what you're gonna do is where you place that 3 chain and that first double crochet, you are going to come right into where you placed that first double crochet. You are going to place 2 more double crochets. So that's 1, that's 2, and then you're going to chain 1, and then you're going to come over to the top of this space here. So this is your 3 chain. You're going to come over to the top here, and you're going to do a single chain through here to bring them together, and there is the chain 1 space in the middle of your cat stitch. And now you've brought this in the round and turned the 2 halves of it into 1 cat stitch. And now you're ready to start row 2. So we are going to chain 3 and flip our work, or flip our work and chain 3, it doesn't matter. And now see in this chain 1 space that you created, you're going to put a double crochet there. And you're going to, in all of these single crochet or these single chains that you put around, you're going to place another shell stitch there. So exactly the same as before, 2 double crochets, a chain, and then 2 double crochets all the way around. So we've reached the beginning of our row. We are going to bring these 2 areas together to create 1 cat stitch shell. So in this chain 1 space, you're going to place 2 double crochets, and you're going to go to this top part, you're going to pull a loop through, and then you're going to change over colors here. So at the end of the last row, I switched over to my light gray, and now I'm going to do an extended double crochet cluster down into this space here in between where I've been placing my shell stitches. So that is, you wrap it over into this space down here, you're going to pull through a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go back down, pull up again, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. I know that was kind of quick. I do, like I said, have an extended cat stitch tutorial on my profile. If you're not familiar with this stitch, go check that out. I go through it a little bit more slowly. And then you are just going to put a shell in this chain 1 space like you did before. And then in this space, extend a double crochet cluster and repeat all the way around, and you'll start to see your cat stitch take form. And those are the 3 rows of your cat stitch. So we do 2 rows of shells, and then we switch color, and we do our shells and our extended double crochet clusters repeated over and over again. And then next we're going to do 2 shells and 2 rows of shells in this light gray color, and then we're going to switch to the other color and do this row number 3 here, and you're going to repeat that over and over again all the way up until you reach the point where you want your armpit to go, and then we'll start to work our decreases in to do our shoulder. I wanted to do a quick view of where you put the extended double crochet clusters when you're no longer against the cuff. So this space right here is where you're going to extend them into. So I'm working on the inside for this row. I am going to put them right here and pull up, and that will be my little cat arms. So basically, as soon as I put my phone down, I realized I wanted the sleeve to be a little bit wider, because obviously you want the sleeve to be a little bit wider than the wrist in a sweater. So I ripped it out, and instead of 30 stitches around, I did 40 stitches around. And if you're wondering how wide this is compared to 40 stitches, this is about 6 inches all the way around to having 40 stitches, and we have 8 cats. We have completed both sleeves up to the elbow. Next time we are going to make the front and the back body panels, and then we're going to work on the shoulder part of the sweater so we can fit it all together. So stay tuned for that.